Hello guys, Flanker is here. This video will be an overview of the recent interview with New World devs, talking about the current state of the game and future plans, along with my subjective opinion about that. Before we start, I would like to state that I'm not a New World hater or one of those people who keep saying game is dead or anything like that. I still secretly hope that devs and their decisions will lead to something like an unbelievable epic New World comeback, you know. So anyway, let's start. The first thing that they talk about is the extension of the winter event because of the amount of positive feedback they received. And my question is, what was so special or unique about it? Winter event questline that is not really different from other quests? The possibility to collect presents or to purchase luck weapons, food and cosmetics for tokens? I doubt it, to be honest. Meteors look cool, I guess nobody will deny that, but that's about it. So am I missing something here or just misreading the situation in general? I mean, having that kind of event is definitely better than not having any events at all, but correct me if I'm wrong, there is nothing really extraordinary about it. Honestly, I'm really interested what you guys think about it, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. The next part of the interview was about the forthcoming changes in January patch, which are Mutations and Umbral system. According to devs, one of their goals was to make dungeons kinda less monotonous and boring by providing new challenges that will force players to adapt and prepare for every run. And high efforts are supposed to lead to high reward, which is going to be Umbral shards that will allow players to upgrade their gear up to 625 gear score. Personally, I think that this update seems to be really great for multiple reasons. First of all, according to the players' feedback from PTR, mutated expeditions truly seem to be interesting and challenging. Secondly, it's going to be a new part of endgame content that will be great for players who already achieved everything in game and have nothing else to do. And from what I saw, it will really take a lot of time to upgrade all your gear to the new cap of gear score. In addition to that, mutations will require much more serious preparation that will lead to increased demand for gear, weapons and consumables, which is good for economy. And those of you who worry that 625 gear score weapons and armor will be too OP, I suppose that's not a reason to worry at all. First of all, as I already mentioned, it might take weeks if not more to achieve that. And secondly, I really doubt that the difference will be significant because attributes, perks, build and experience are much more important than 10-15 gear score points. One more thing that they mention is the change that tuning orbs after the patch can be bought in faction shop and their components will become tradable. I mentioned that in my video about the hidden changes of January patch. Actually, some viewers asked why they're hidden when they have been posted on the forum. Guys, check the date when video has been published and when the devs post and forum appeared. I have no intention to mislead my audience or random viewers. Before the January patch release, they plan to test everything on PTR server properly for a couple of weeks and collect the feedback. One of the major decisions they made was actually based on that. I'm talking about the possibility to upgrade the items of 590 gear score and higher with Umbral shards and not only the legendaries. This seems to be a good idea because the chance to craft a legendary item was 1 to 6 with all possible bonuses. And after you get lucky to craft one, you also have to pray for perfect perks combination, and the chance of that is usually very low. I'm glad the devs finally started paying more attention to players' feedback. Another thing that we learned from the interview is the fact that we should not expect any major updates in February because they will be mostly focused on fixing bugs. Obviously, that's always a good thing to do, but that sounded a little bit contradictory to what they said earlier. In their previous interview, they mentioned that fixing bugs and working on a new content are two processes that are not mutually exclusive. In addition to that, releasing new content is critically important for New World in its current state for two reasons. First of all, players will not get bored and eventually quit, and secondly, new content always sparks interest of those who are not playing the game anymore. So honestly, I think it might be a big mistake. I mean, yeah, I expect mutations to be interesting and challenging, but will that be something that I would be glad to do for 2 months, even as a hardcore player? I doubt it. The next big topic is server transfers. Some good news here, players may expect to get new transfer tokens in future. All the devs want to do now is to make sure that the process of server transfer will be smooth and won't lead to any potential bugs and dupes. That's obviously good to hear, but I'm still wondering why they haven't added transfer tokens to the in-game store. Many players got stuck on servers where they don't want to be. Other players were not able to follow their friends or companies who transferred to another server. So adding tokens to the store could be a very simple solution. And correct me if I'm wrong, the necessity to buy them would not only generate some income for the company, but also eliminate the possibility of any market manipulations. So if the transfer tokens could be bought in store, would you buy them, and what do you think would be a fair price for them? Next part of the interview was mostly about bots and cheaters that are still one of the biggest problems of New World. I was glad to hear that they have improved their report and anti-cheat system that allowed them to ban 9,600 bots and cheaters. However, I still see some bots online that had been previously reported multiple times by many players. So this problem definitely still exists, and honestly, I don't think it can be completely eliminated at all. As I said earlier, devs are mostly focused on bug fixing now, and will do the same in February. They mentioned some well-known bugs that they are aware of, such as desync, missing ingredients in recipes, weapon swap, ability bugs, etc. I hope that they will finally fix the bow abilities, such as poison and penetrating shot, that were bugged since beta and haven't been fixed yet, which is truly infuriating for me and I guess for other bow players too. Another important thing that devs mention is their desire to let more players participate in wars. There is currently an active thread on forum where players discuss an introduction of a cooldown for participating in wars. That actually seems to be a good idea because more players will be able to try this part of endgame content, and in addition to that, one company will no longer be able to control multiple settlements and have the same roster in all wars, and I believe this will make servers more balanced. The current state of PvP missions was also mentioned. I'm glad that devs at least realized that they are still boring and repetitive. Obviously, it shouldn't be easy for a company to declare, but I believe that there should be a way to make them more interesting and challenging. However, that is not something that we should expect in the nearest future, same as PvP arenas that were also mentioned in the interview. Devs said that it is an idea that they keep in mind, but unfortunately, players should not expect them anytime soon. After watching the interview, I have mixed feelings. On one hand, it is great to see that there is a communication process between the developers and players. It's awesome that devs finally realized that the feedback from players should be taken into account, even if it is sometimes negative. Apart from that, such interviews provide some level of transparency that is extremely important for New World at this point of time. But on the other hand, am I the only one who thinks that this particular interview was super boring? We haven't really heard anything new because almost everything they said has been already published on the official forum or mentioned by content creators. Obviously, it is me and only me who is responsible for my own expectations, but honestly, I'm kinda disappointed after watching. No blunderbuss, no Isabella's lair, no map expansion, nothing like that in the nearest future. I believe we can hope for the next major update only in March. Feel free to share your opinion about the interview in the comments below. I'll be glad to have a discussion about the current state of New World with you guys. If this video was interesting and you would like to support the channel, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I'm Flanker, and I wish you luck in Eternum.